guys. So today I was messing around with my wood arrows, and I was thinking about shooting some A standard broadheads, but I remembered that I bought these and I only shot them with the insert here. And I said, well, you know, I have these wood arrows, I might as well use these broadheads to shoot. So we're gonna go ahead and add a little bit too much glue on there so we can use these and put this broadhead back on here and see if we can get it to work. I'm using some glue that I found in one of my I'm gonna have to heat that up, but I'm using some glue that I found in an old tackle box I had, and this glue, I'm gonna put this on this lighter to push it down. This, ooh shit. Freaking broadheads are sharp. I just pushed through that like it was nothing. Need to find something to put this on real quick. This leather will work. I don't want to punch through my leather really. But anyway, let me find something to push this broadhead on, but this is what we're going to be trying to shoot out of our wood arrows and see how they fly. I need to make sure they're on there good and straight, and we're going to go give them a test run. Alright, so like I was saying, we're going to shoot these Jerry Hill Broadheads that are 180 grain on my Port Orford cedar arrows, and see how they fly. I bought these arrows from a guy, and they do pretty good. They're not my, nothing fancy, but they're a good hunting arrow, something I can use. And I'm gonna try out these Jerry Hill Broadheads and see how they do. All right, when you're dealing with these Jerry Hill Broadheads, they're sharp as crap, so y'all be careful. I'm just gonna take the insert I had in there out. It'll start sliding out when you get that. I don't know if you can see it. It'll start sliding out when you get it heated up enough, and then just grab the end and pull it out there. But what we're gonna do is take this broadhead off this wood arrow, just heat it up a little bit. And don't heat it so much where you're gonna be burning your wood, but it'll come off of there pretty easy once you get it going. And I have plenty of glue on here, and take some of this off, but I have plenty of glue on here where I can just reuse what I have, and versus having to put just use this stick to kind of smear it around. This glue right here is, I don't like to put too much, but it's super sticky. I found this in an old archery tackle box my uncle gave me, and this glue, it works better than any other glue stick that I have as far as sticking broadheads on. I shot this broadhead in the target probably 20 times yesterday, and it just heated back up and it stuck on there really good. This is still a little hot, so I'm gonna take this and line it back up how I want it. It's gonna be going on here just like that. Let's see. I like to line it vertical up with my top feather. Then we'll push it up against something and get it set. Alright, so I'm out here with my longbow. I went ahead and I set up these arrows with some 175 points. They're flying pretty good. I went ahead and put this Jerry Hill 180 grain broadhead on there. I glued it on, and we're gonna see how it flies. If I can get these to work, these will be my primary hunting broadheads. I know I swap broadheads a lot, but Robert Carter uses these, and he's a pretty awesome hunter. I have a lot of respect for him and his videos and what he does, and just he inspires me to make the little videos that I make and do what I need to do. But last night, I'm going to talk about my hunt last night. Last night I climbed up my tree, and about 8:45 I had two pigs come under me. I couldn't see them, but I turned my headlamp on, and I could hear them coming through there, and they never stopped. I had a little bit of rice bran on the ground, but they never stopped to check up. I don't think there was enough food down, so they went ahead and went on to another spot or had something else they were more interested in. So we're gonna try them again another day. I'm gonna see if I can maybe see if they're going to some acorn somewhere or feeding on something else, but we'll get back to that. Anyway, let's see how these broadheads shoot out of this bow. All right, so we'll go ahead and start out shooting the field point. I'm going to see if these field points are flying in any kind of comparison to my broadheads. I'm going to shoot this field point at that lower target right here to start out with. All right, that arrow flew a little bit to the left. If I start getting a consistent left flight with these arrows, I know my grip's wrong usually, so. That was a good arrow. It had a little bit of wobble, but it flew straight in the middle. Now I'm gonna shoot my Jerry Hill Broadhead and see how it does. We'll shoot it into the top Reinhardt target. I really don't like the way my cock feather is positioned. I need to move, I need to twist my arrow up a little bit so I can get it more on my nose. Alright, that was a bad shot. I pulled that one horribly. Let's shoot that again. Definitely got some weird flight with those two arrows. We're gonna shoot them one more time, and we need to get those flying pretty consistent before we decide to hunt with them. All right, so those first few shots of the day were not ideal for me. I usually have some pretty straight flying arrows, and that wasn't it. Okay, I pulled my hand off my face on that one, but that was a way straighter flying arrow. Feel good about that. Good flying arrow there too. So I feel better about shooting the broadheads now. We're shooting a 175 point, and these are a 180 grain broadhead. So they're gonna be a little bit heavier. If I can get them to work, we can hunt with them. All right, that was a good straight flying arrow, a little bit low, but we're shooting 17 yards with this bow. It's not the fastest bow, so I'm gonna have to definitely hold a little higher. So I'm not sure what's going on. The other day I was shooting the same setup, and my arrow flight was way more consistent than it has been. I don't know if I changed my grip or what I've changed, but let's shoot this broadhead again. That arrow definitely, I think these wood arrows are coming out of my quiver right here, causing my bow to shoot weird. Alright, that was good. That was a good flying arrow right there. As long as I get that form down, I think my arrows are fine. I mean, that one hit right in the middle of the target, and that's what I'm wanting. Definitely need to make sure this bow is perfectly set in my hand before I take that shot. All right, we're gonna shoot a few more with the broadheads, and hopefully we'll get this thing where it's shooting how I need it to shoot. That was a good shot right there in the middle. Had a little bit of wobble in the arrows. I'm thinking these may be a little bit too weak with this head, but yeah, it's coming out and whipping to the left. I may need to cut a little bit off of it, but we're pretty good as far as being able to hit the center of the target. See, that's a good flying arrow right there. That was a 175 point, and those broadheads I'm using are 180, so they're a little bit heavier than this, and maybe causing my arrow to be a little bit weak coming out of the bow. All right, so this is the broadhead setup I'm wanting to use with this bow, and I just got to get everything flying right and how I'm wanting it to fly before I take off into the woods with it. That was a good flying arrow right there. Did drop off a little bit. These arrows are pretty light. They're only like 530 grains to 540 grains with this broadhead setup, and I think they'll be fine. I keep pulling off my face with this bow for some reason. I need to definitely need to work on my form. Let's try to get this one into good back tension and make it in the center of the target. All right, so I'm still getting used to this bow. It's my Liberty English. I still don't think I found the right arrow for this. When I first got this bow, I was shooting the 175s off of it, and I think they're I don't know if I'm having getting a hit off the shelf or having a stiff arrow, but they flew a little bit better for me. Maybe I'm just getting used to the bow and my form has changed. Maybe I'm not drawing back as much, but I need a super straight flying arrow before I decide to go off into the woods, like I said. That was a good flying arrow right there. It took a little bit, came out to the left a little bit and corrected. So if we can put one of those in the middle, we'll be all right. All right, that was two consistent arrows right there. That I also had to cant that bow a little bit to get that arrow to fly right. I'm gonna shoot those two more times and see if we can get them in the middle. All right, let's get this bow shooting like it needs to shoot. But one thing I was gonna show y'all, I found this glue for these broadheads up in an old tackle box I had in the attic that my uncle gave me. And I've never really found any glue that held that broadhead on after multiple shots into the target. I've always had one to come off of there. And this glue right here is, I put pretty good pressure on that arrow to pull it out of the target, and it hadn't budged. So, we'll keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully this broadhead will stay connected to the arrow. I'm not sure if I have this knock point set up right just yet, but we're gonna keep trying. I lowered it down a little bit, so hopefully that'll help with this arrow flight. There it is, right there. Broadhead's in the center of the target. I'm not gonna touch this knock point anymore. I'm gonna leave it right here. We're gonna take one more shot. Hopefully we won't cut that broadhead, but I'm gonna shoot at the top dot now instead of that middle. That was a perfect shot. Definitely, I think I definitely left that one on my face. I'm gonna shoot those two one more time and see if I have any variation in arrow flight. I'm gonna shoot the one that I shot to the right this time and make sure I stay in good form. All right, let's try this again. Alright, so these past few shots haven't been perfect. I like to find an arrow that shoots your broadheads perfect before you go hunting with it. I'm gonna try to change the the angle on this arrow, put the cock feather in to see if it shoots a little different. That arrow winged out way to the left on that shot. And it came back. That's a good flying arrow right there. Had a little bit of kick, but it's still in the middle of the target. All right, let's see if we can get this arrow in the middle of this target on this shot. All right, that was a good flying arrow right there. It was almost in the middle. One thing I did on that shot, I had to kind of put my heel down and shoot. Keep a solid grip with this bow, heel down, and put some pressure on it. Well, I was definitely shooting this bow better the other day than I am now. I don't know if it's the wood arrows or something's causing my arrow flight to be off. My quiver is definitely not holding the arrows as tight as I want it to, but not really satisfied with the way these arrows are flying right now. I need to be super consistent with them hitting in the center, and the way I'm shooting, it's just not happening today, not yet. I mean, that was a better flying arrow right there, but it wasn't the straightest that I have had. All right, that worked right there. That was a good flying arrow. Arrow dropped off a little bit, but it was definitely more consistent than the past few arrows I've shot. Let's shoot two more. Awesome flying arrow right there. Good shot. Right in the middle. Good shot. Alright, so I'm gonna get confident with this longbow. I love shooting it. It's super fun. And with wood arrows, you just can't, you can't beat it. You carry this to the woods with you, and you have that, that feeling of, man, this is an old school style bow to shoot, and just one that you feel good about. It's nothing, you're not going to be, I know I'm not going to be like the most accurate shooter with this bow, which is, it's not a great thing to say, but I'm accepting that with these wood arrows, I'm accurate, but I'm not perfect, and it's just something that you have to accept as far as taking this out in the woods with you and hunting with it. Now, if I had the biggest buck of my life come out and I had this bow in my hand, then I don't feel like it's the best weapon for me to be taking, but that's what I want to shoot, and that's what I'm going to shoot. So, well, I guess we're gonna say we're just starting out with this bow. I'm pretty frustrated with it. I was shooting it pretty well when the first day I got it, and I was shooting some 190. I think they were a 190 point, but I'm shooting a 175 now, and it's shooting okay. My field points are flying fine, but these broadheads, they're not very consistent right now, so we're gonna need some work. I've been playing with my knock point adjustment up and down, and I'm not sure if I'm getting a ramp off the shelf or what, but arrows aren't flying precisely in the middle like I want them. That was a perfect form, perfect release, and a perfectly executed shot right there. My arrow hit right where I wanted it to go. That was a good shot there too. Arrow flew in the middle. I just have to get this form perfect with this bow, and then we'll be good from there. Your form with any arrow, any arrows you have set up, any broadhead set up, if your form's off, your arrow is going to be inaccurate. You have to maintain that consistent form, and that's something I strive to do every day shooting traditional gear. It's just, especially with these bows here, with this style grip, you have to maintain that consistent grip. If you don't, your arrow is going to be all over the place. Right there in the middle. That's what I need. I have to find that consistent form. If I can find that, I'll be fine. That one winged out a little bit. I think I moved my bow arm, but it's right there in the middle. All right, let's see if we can put this arrow in this broadhead in the center of that Reinhardt. It's a good shot right there. Let's shoot this one and I'll show you all the results. A little bit to the right, but I'll take them. All right, so I'm not the most perfect shot with this longbow just yet. Still needs a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of tuning, but I want to be able to set these arrows inside of a group about like this. With wood arrows, they're not going to be as precise as a carbon, but with a little bit of work, I think I can get them there. So these are my last two shots. This one was good and in the middle. My target is looking like death here, but I want to keep trying with these wood arrows. I love shooting. All right, so my shots aren't the most consistent with this bow. I'm gonna take these two shots here with the broadheads, and we're gonna analyze this in the video here in a little while to see what I'm doing on that shot. Hopefully they both fly in the middle and my form's perfect, but I know I'm doing something to cause my shots to be off. Had to have let down on that shot. That arrow flew way to the right. Had to be something. That was a good shot right there in the middle. Pretty sure most of my inconsistencies are from me, flaws in my form with this bow. Something's causing me not to get these arrows in the middle every time. I appreciate y'all watching this video today. I'm gonna do a little bit of editing on it. Definitely love this bow. This is it's a 68-inch longbow, and I'm gonna kill a pig with it here soon. But y'all shoot straight. Get out here, shoot your equipment before season comes up. Wood arrows, definitely get out here and put the time in with wood arrows. They're a different animal to learn how to shoot, learn how to, get used to shooting. They're not going to be as perfect flying as your carbons. You have to maintain perfect form, and you have to get out here and shoot. Good shot, right in the middle of the target. Boom, another one. Good shot, middle, a little low, but it's a good flying arrow. We'll see y'all next time.